Woodstock was great. We drove home. We burnt out the transmission in my mother's vehicle. It was an expensive trip, but it was worth it. It was the real feeling of the road that captivated me. I actually got to see Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and they sang Marrakesh Express, and it went right into my idea of what I wanted to do in life, to be a hippie traveler. So I flew across the Atlantic with $500 in my pocket. And as I did, I decided to keep track of things in journals. October 7, 1970, Luxembourg. But from there, I went to Amsterdam, and boy, that really started the trip going. Amsterdam was just full of hippies. It was just like the cantina scene in Star Wars. People were coming and going from the outer galaxy, coming back to the real world. The hog farm was there, the very same hog farm I had seen at Woodstock. After 10 days in Amsterdam, spent some time in London, took a van down to Barcelona. The next day, I get on a Spanish steamer, and I head to the island of Ibiza. Took some acid on that trip. Oh my God, the magic was beginning. We went to Granada, we saw the famous Alhambra. Oh, and then we entered Morocco. Well, Morocco was the real mind blower. You have to understand, this whole thing was involved in what we would call the hippie trail. The hippie trail started out really by going down to Morocco, and there was the famous Marrakesh Express. However, the real mother lode was Kathmandu. I wind up hitchhiking across North Africa. We made it to Tunisia, we made it up to Rome, and I flew to Israel. Spent about 7 weeks on a kibbutz. That's a communal farm in Israel. Go to Jerusalem, and I go to Eilat, down in the Red Sea. I took a potato and artichoke boat to Beirut, Lebanon. Wind up winding my way to Istanbul. And I'm thinking, I'm going home. I had had enough. But then I'm thinking, you know what? This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. I'm going to go to Afghanistan, I decide. Getting into Afghanistan was just incredible. Why? Because Afghani hashish. Wow. First night there was like being on Mars. I mean, it was just crazy how high I got. We had a ball. We went up to the Kashmir when we crossed into India. We prayed, we meditated. We actually had a public audience with the Dalai Lama. Myself, Dick, Roger, 2 other hippies, and about 20 local Tibetan people were there seeing the great man. Spent almost a month in Kathmandu. So we wind up going from there to Benares in India, long train rides. My God, there's the hog farm in our Indian tourist bungalow. So you would continue to re-see people because there's only so many ways to go in terms of getting from place to place. I saw that beauty of running into people over and over again. I got my way all the way back to Amsterdam. Now the West is crashing around on me. By the time I got home, I weighed 114 pounds. I was gone for 1 year. The place hadn't changed one iota. But what I saw was my home, and I did love it. A year later, I'm falling in love with my lovely wife, Pamela, going to law school, living in the city. The city was in trouble. The city was already in trouble. I moved into an apartment on Forest and 2nd, about a block and a half from Woodward Avenue.